Hey, it's Ben with Bering Optics Product Ambassador. I've got a new product for you. It's March of 2026, and at SHOT Show 2026, Bering announced the Hogster MPVO, Medium Power Variable Optic. Thermal rifle scope. It's in 384 resolution and has a 25mm front germanium lens. If you found this video, you're in search of an entry-level thermal optic that has some versatility but won't break the bank. The map pricing on this is $12.75. Get with your thermal or night vision dealer on pricing and availability here in the first quarter of 2026. So today what I'm going to do is some basic range tests. That's going to include zeroing, so I'll show you how to zero this optic. We'll also test that the zoom tracks. In other words, when you use digital zoom, the point of impact doesn't shift. And then lastly, I'll recoil test it on this 30-06. So, right up front, medium power variable optic in a thermal rifle scope. What does that mean? It's really about the format that Bering chose. This is geared towards bolt action and lever action rifle shooters. It's going to allow you with the set of rings here to place that optic further back where the eye relief is optimal. The rear eyepiece on this is fantastic. It's 11 inches in length. I brought another example of a tube-based thermal scope. This is the Hogster bore. I'll have some videos coming up in the future on this one, but just to compare the size difference between the two, as well as weight. So obviously this is a higher magnification optic, but if your use case is short, close-in range, this ought to be perfect for you. I'll cover some features and specs later in this video as well. So again, the Hogster MPVO, designed by Bering Optics, priced for all hunters. So you've got your scope mounted on your rifle. Couple things to consider. We're down here in North Texas, and if you've ever zeroed thermal optics in the heat of July and August, I feel for you. I've done the same, and it can be quite a challenge, and that's even with 640 resolution scopes. This is a 384 resolution, 25mm front objective, 2-power thermal rifle scope. So you're really going to have to do yourself some favors on the zeroing piece to this in order to get an optimum, efficient, quick, and effective session. So the MPVO does allow me to record menu and the features of how to operate while recording, which is a plus. I don't have to try to adapt the camera to the back. So I'll actually demonstrate for you how to zero this thermal optic. All right, first shot's Hogster MPVO, 50 yards, zeroing. I will go ahead and start recording. Later on in this video, I will have a section that says hotkeys, and that'll show you how to operate the 3-button pad back here, as well as the push button encoder wheel on top. So more to come there. I've got it target set up, the hand warmers on top, the foils on the bottom. All right, first step in zeroing, you want to make sure this rear eyepiece is focused. So you're going to turn that right or left until all the icons on the bottom are in perfect sharp focus for you. So disregard whatever's happening downrange. In fact, I'll close the lens cap, and I'm going to focus my reticle and all that heads-up display information perfectly before I take any shots. Right there. Okay, next up, you want to use the front objective focus to tune your image downrange. So right there, I've taken it out of focus on purpose, and I'm going to bring it back into focus. right about there. Again, as I led in with, you can see the difficulty in seeing the target media downrange. That's just going to be environmental conditions. Any given day it can look fantastic, or it can look a little bit hard where everything's the same temperature downrange. I can make out the bottom foil pretty easily, so I will take 2 shots. Turn recording off. Scope and standby to save battery. We'll go down and see where those landed. Check. Alright, down at 50, the 2 shots are left and a tad bit low. So I'll now paste some other hot target right over those 2 holes and go back to the scope. Alright, back at the bench here at 50. I went ahead and posted, it's trial and error on these optics and these target media that we're using, so I darkened up where the points of impact are and pasted a hand warmer over a dark backer on the white poster board, and you can see there it actually makes a very good difference that we can make some adjustments with. So trial and error, find what works for you. I'm going to enter the zeroing menu and I'm going to go to freeze image. Now you have to kind of work through the text that is over the area that you're freezing the image. And I've reported this to Bering. Hopefully it'll get an adjustment to where we won't have to do that, but it's sort of a guess at this point. So I'm going to freeze it. Then I'm going to check it. And I'm pretty close. I can use that. So the image is frozen. I'm moving the gun around. The image isn't moving. Back into the zeroing menu, now to the reticle zeroing submenu. And I'm going to select the X, which is windage. I'm going to move the reticle to the position and just a tad down. Right there. And then once those, see the reticle is now on the new point of impact. And I'm going to go to return. That should save it. I'm going to go back to freeze image and turn that off. And now I'm going to take 2 confirmation shots. To check that the adjustments took. Alright, down at 50, made the adjustments, and I am zeroed at 50 yards. I'm going to go ahead and rework this target using this style of aim point, and I'll move to 100. Alright, we are looking at 100 yards. I have 4 hot spots on the target in anticipation of doing a zoom test, but before that I need to go ahead and verify my 100-yard zero. So I will do that on the lower right hotspot. This scope does have picture-in-picture. Let's go ahead and activate that. And I'll take 3 shots. Okay, 3 shots. Let's go check impacts. Alright, I just pasted a hot hands over the points of impact. As you can tell, it's very hard to decipher. I can barely make them out. So let's go through the zeroing one more time. So we'll go to zeroing. Freeze frame. That's actually not a bad spot for the freeze frame. Zeroing, submenu. I'm good on windage. I need to go to elevation, which is Y, and come up. And I'm going down. -2. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Still frozen. Off. Okay, we'll do the digital zoom test. Range is hot. Alright, we're at native magnification 2.3. Alright, 2 times 4.65. Four times 9.3. 8 times 18.6. And we'll go down and check those. Okay, so the point of that last exercise was to operate each zoom level and look for the same point of impact. So at native magnification, high about 2 inches, right about 1 inch. 2 times, high about 1 inch, right about 1 inch. It's right there on the edge in the black. 4 times, right about 2 inches. And 8 times was high right 2 inches. So, point of impact is tracking. I do still need to make a fine adjustment to my zero. On the average of those 4, I should probably come down 1 inch at least. So I'll make that change. Alright, so final zero adjustment at 100 yards. I'm going to go ahead and go to 2 times zoom 4.65. I will enter the zeroing menu, freeze the image, Again, windage was good, so I'm going to adjust elevation. I'm on minus 2.0. That's the wrong direction. I'm going to go with minus 2.75. And I'll go ahead and shoot a 3-shot group to verify final zero confirmation, 100 yards. Alright, so the air show continues above, but we've concluded the range test with the 223 and the Hogster MPVO with a final 3-shot zero confirmation. There's 2 in the black just above the hot hand warmer and the one there, so about 1.5 inches spread, which is what that gun gives, even with day optics. So we are good to hunt with the MPVO. Now I'll do the recoil test on the 30-06. Perfect. Range is hot. Hot. I'm going to check focus. Right there, we're in focus. Okay, so it remained on. I'm looking at focus. I mean, I can still see the silhouette in the head. It's just very hard to tell definition of anything else. I mean, the tires behind the silhouette come in and out of focus, so let's take a couple more shots and look at that visual reference just to make sure it's staying in focus. Yeah. Okay, so 6 shots total. No issues with 30-06 recoil.
Alright, menu walkthrough of the Hogster MPVO thermal rifle scope. This is the main screen. The MPVO will allow you to record the heads-up display as well as the menu substructures, so I am recording using the onboard video and audio at this point. We will enter the menu at this time, and we'll start with Functions menu. Enter the Functions menu, and we will begin with Wi-Fi. Alright, Wi-Fi, you have three modes: off, AP, which if you download off the mobile app store, the mobile app IR-tracker, and then V for 5, Roman numeral 5, that'll give you the ability to use that app to access the files on the scope as well as view the viewfinder and things that you're accustomed to doing with the app and these digital optics, these thermal optics. So AP pattern is that first selection under Wi-Fi, and then it has STA, which is temporary out of service mode, and to configure STA mode you have to use router settings and things of that nature. So that is probably not going to be a very commonly used Wi-Fi setting. Alright, next up is delete files, and you can format the built-in memory card using that, and your options are going to be yes or no. Since I'm recording at this point, I won't do anything there. And then we're going to go to Dead Pixel Fix, which hopefully you'll never need that, but it has that ability to try and correct any dead pixels on the core. Zoom, you have the ability to leave it at native, go to 2 times, 4 times, or 8 times. The 8 times is a theoretical 18.61 zoom value. And lastly is picture-in-picture. It can display in 2 fixed positions, either top, and there you see it under the compass, nicely sized, or bottom, and it reads out above the magnification reading. I've started to begin liking the bottom picture-in-picture placement. I'll continue to try and illustrate that in some hunting footage that we get with the scope. It's nice and out of the way. Recoil activated video. It basically automatically record during recoil impulse for 10 seconds pre-recorded and give you an automatic file. And the options there are on or off. So that concludes the functions menu. Okay, next sub-menu that we're going to review is going to be the systems setting menu, and we will start with language. Default is English. Then we have upgrade, and you can upgrade the versions on these scopes. There possibly will be firmware updates as time gets along there, and there'll be further instruction on that. Then you have restore factory settings, and all parameters will revert to default values if you select that option. Audio recording, you can turn the internal microphone on or off. On-screen display, you have on or off. We'll select off. We'll go back to the main screen, and you'll see that it is completely void of any information. The picture-in-picture remains, and the recording for if you're recording will show, but otherwise you get full edge-to-edge use of the screen with the on-screen display off. We'll turn that back on. Sleep, you have options for 0 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, and 60 minutes if you want the scope to automatically go to sleep when there's a moment of inactivity. Let me put that back to 0. compass calibration. You can do a series of rotations and such to calibrate the compass. And then system information. Let's see, it gives you serial number information and all of that. And then we are back to the beginning at language. Okay, next up is going to be the zeroing submenu. Clicking in there, we start with an aim profile. So the MPVO scope will afford you with 4 different profiles. So G1 through 4. We'll leave it at G1, but essentially you can set up different zeros for those different profiles for different ammunition, different rifles, whatever you may be attempting to accomplish. We have reticle color, of which there are going to be 4. White, red, yellow, and green. Reticle type. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and off. 0 will be off. Go ahead and leave it at 1. Freezing of the image. That'll be used during the zeroing process to attain sort of a one-shot zero procedure. It's going to be on or off. When you turn it on, that'll freeze, and then you can go back into this menu and slide over one to the zeroing submenu. And then once in the zeroing submenu, that scene would be frozen, whatever you froze it on. And then you would be able to change your X, which is windage, and Y, which is elevation values, and that reticle will move to your point of impact that you desire, and then you'll save those settings, and you will be zeroed very easily. And then reset, if you wanted to reset the information within this zeroing menu. All right, and let's go back in here and look at image settings. We'll start with contrast. And in contrast, you're going to be able to select weak, average, strong, or super strong. So the MPVO scope has predetermined contrast values instead of having to make selections like 0 through 100. This scope will give you some predetermined settings. Brightness, you have average, strong, super strong, and weak. Hotspot tracking, I don't know, I've never really used hotspot tracking, but a small little cursor will come up as you're looking at a scene, and it'll show you an indicator on the hottest part of that scene. Image mode, this is going to be your color palettes or your color modes. You got white hot, black hot, red hot, and green hot. Screen brightness, you can go to 10 to 100%. And lastly is enhance or sharpness, and this is values 1 to 15.